In the grim darkness of the far future, the warp is both a blessing and a curse, a realm of boundless power and unspeakable horror. Across the galaxy, Psykers tap into this volatile energy, wielding abilities that can bend reality, incinerate foes, or tear open rifts to the Immaterium itself. From the devastating smite of the Imperium's battle Psykers to the insidious sorcery of chaos, every faction has its own deadly arsenal of psychic powers. We'll break down every single Warhammer 40k psychic power, from biomancy to witchcraft, revealing their secrets, strengths, and the terrible price they demand. Today we will talk about every single Warhammer 40 psychic power explained. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. The core psychic disciplines. 1. Biomancy, the art of flesh crafting. Biomancy is the discipline of manipulating biological matter, enhancing the body, and accelerating the processes of life and death. Biomancers can boost their physical abilities, heal injuries, or unleash devastating bioweapons upon their enemies. This discipline is most commonly wielded by Imperial librarians, Chaos sorcerers, and Nurgle-aligned Psykers. Iron Arm. The Psyker hardens their flesh and bones, becoming resistant to damage, while gaining immense physical strength. Endurance. A powerful healing ability that regenerates wounds and makes the target nearly unkillable. Warp Speed. Enhances speed and reflexes to inhuman levels, allowing for rapid attacks and dodging enemy strikes. Enfeeble. Weakens an enemy, sapping their strength and resilience. Life Leech. A vampiric attack that drains the life force of an opponent to restore the Psyker's own health. 2. Pyromancy. The wrath of the Warpfire. Pyromancy is the mastery of fire and destruction, harnessing the raw power of the warp to engulf enemies in flames. It is one of the most aggressive disciplines, often used by Imperial Psykers, Chaos sorcerers, and even Eldar warlocks. Fire Shield. Creates a protective barrier of fire, burning enemies who attempt to get too close. Inferno. A devastating firestorm that engulfs entire squads in hellish flames. Molten Beam. A concentrated beam of searing energy that can melt through tanks and armor. Sunburst. A blinding explosion of warp fire that incinerates enemies within a massive radius. Cleansing Flame. A purifying fire that eradicates corruption, particularly effective against chaos and demonic entities. 3. Telepathy. The power of the mind. Telepathy is the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and the very consciousness of others. Psykers with this ability can read minds, implant suggestions, and even dominate entire armies. It is most commonly used by Imperial Inquisitors, Eldar Farseers, and Chaos sorcerers of Tzeentch. Mental Fortitude. Strengthens the target's willpower, making them resistant to mind control. Dominate. Forces an enemy to obey the Psyker's will. Psychic Shriek. Unleashes a horrifying scream that shatters minds and souls. Invisibility. Bends light and thought, making the Psyker and their allies nearly impossible to perceive. Shrouding. Creates an illusion that confuses enemies, making them attack phantoms instead of real targets. 4. Divination. The sight beyond time. Divination is one of the most potent psychic disciplines, granting its wielders the ability to see into the past, present, and future with varying degrees of clarity. Psykers skilled in divination can manipulate probability, foresee enemy movements, and alter the course of events before they even happen. This discipline is most commonly associated with Eldar Farseers, who use their precognitive abilities to guide their craft worlds. Imperial Astropaths, who interpret visions granted by the Emperor, and Tzeentchian sorcerers, who use this power to weave intricate plans in service of the Chaos God of Change. While many Psykers struggle to grasp the full complexity of time's flow, those who master divination can effectively reshape fate itself. Notable divination psychic powers. Prescience. The Psyker enhances their own senses and those of their allies, granting them supernatural accuracy in combat. This power ensures that attacks hit their mark, making even the most unpredictable weapons strike with precision. Forewarning: a powerful defensive ability that allows the Psyker to anticipate incoming attacks before they happen. Those affected become nearly impossible to hit, as they instinctively move out of harm's way. Some Farseers claim to see 1,000 potential deaths at every moment, avoiding them with perfect grace. Scryer's gaze: the ability to peer across great distances, detecting enemy movements and hidden dangers. Those who use this power can uncover enemy ambushes, locate lost artifacts, or even scry into the warp itself, though such attempts risk drawing unwanted attention. Divine Guidance enhances an entire unit's reactions, allowing them to predict enemy maneuvers and counter them effortlessly. This power is invaluable in close-quarters combat, where split-second decisions mean life or death. The Emperor's Tarot, a more obscure but incredibly dangerous power used by Imperial diviners, where the Psyker channels visions through a deck of ancient tarot cards said to be attuned to the Emperor's will. These readings can provide insight into future events, though misinterpretation can be catastrophic. Weaver of Fates, a psychic blessing favored by Tianqian sorcerers. This power grants a chosen warrior an unnaturally strong protective aura, shielding them from harm by entangling their destiny with the strands of the warp. Those affected by this power seem to defy death itself. Moment of Clarity. A burst of psychic insight allows a unit to instantly act with flawless coordination, seizing the perfect moment to strike. This power has turned the tide of countless battles, ensuring that an army's greatest opportunity does not go to waste. Omen of Doom. A terrifying ability that allows the Psyker to project visions of inevitable demise into the minds of enemies. Those affected become paralyzed with despair, believing their deaths are certain, and often breaking before a battle even begins. Echoes of the Future. The Psyker gains glimpses of upcoming events, warning their allies of dangers that have yet to manifest. This power is often used to avoid traps, ambushes, or treachery. The limits of divination. Despite its incredible power, divination has its limitations. The future is not fixed, and while a skilled Psyker may predict likely outcomes, sudden shifts in fate, especially those influenced by the Chaos Gods, can throw even the most precise prophecies into disarray. Many Psykers suffer terrible fates due to relying too heavily on visions, only to discover that their interpretations were flawed. Some particularly gifted individuals, such as Eldred Ulthrand of Craftworld Ulthway, have managed to navigate these complexities with near unparalleled skill. But even they are not infallible. In the 41st millennium, knowledge is power, and those who wield divination shape the battlefield itself by knowing what will happen before it does. Whether guiding a craft world, ensuring an Imperial crusade success, or twisting fate in service to Tinch, those who see the future hold an advantage that few can counter. 5. Daemonology. The forbidden arts of the warp. Daemonology is the most dangerous and heretical psychic discipline, revolving around the summoning and control of demonic entities. This power is primarily wielded by chaos sorcerers and heretic psykers, though some radical inquisitors have also dabbled in it. Sacrifice allows the psyker to offer a mortal soul in exchange for summoning a powerful daemon. Possession. The psyker willingly allows a daemon to take control, transforming into a monstrous entity. Cursed Earth strengthens nearby daemons, making them more resistant to attacks. Summoning calls forth horrors from the warp to reinforce chaos forces on the battlefield. Xenos-specific psychic powers. Eldar runes of battle and runes of fate. The Eldari wield psychic powers in a way that is both elegant and devastating. Farseers use the runes of fate, manipulating destiny itself, while warlocks wield the runes of battle, channeling raw psychic energy into powerful effects. Doom weakens an enemy's defenses, making them vulnerable to all attacks. Guide grants pinpoint accuracy to allies. Mind War A psychic duel between two minds, capable of instantly killing weaker opponents. Fortune grants incredible durability by altering fate itself. Notable orc psychic powers. Da Crunch, a giant, green, spectral foot, representing Gork, or possibly Mork, materializes and stomps enemies into pulp. This power is one of the most devastating manifestations of WAAH energy, causing massive damage to enemy troops. Warpath. This ability increases the ferocity and combat prowess of orcs in the immediate area, granting them supernatural speed and strength. The more orcs present, the more potent Warpath becomes, making it deadly in massive engagements. Fists of Gork. A colossal spectral green fist materializes and smashes enemies with brute force. This attack is often used to crush vehicles, fortifications, and large enemy units. Jump. A teleportation-like ability where orc mobs are hurled through the warp and instantly appear elsewhere on the battlefield. Though unpredictable, this power allows orcs to launch surprise attacks. Idbanger. The Weird Boy focuses his energy on an enemy, and if successful, their head explodes in a gory burst of raw WAAH energy. Zap fires a concentrated bolt of unstable orc psychic energy, usually manifesting as a wild arc of green lightning that scorches anything in its path. Tyrannid hive mind powers. The strength of synaptic domination. Tyrannids are a race of extragalactic bioforms entirely controlled by the hive mind, a vast, collective consciousness that directs every tyrannid creature with absolute control. Certain tyrannid organisms, such as zoanthropes, neurothropes, and hive tyrants, serve as synaptic conduits that channel this overwhelming psychic force. Their powers are not individual expressions of will, but rather manifestations of the hive mind's overwhelming intelligence, projected through powerful psychic nodes. Notable tyrannid psychic powers. Psychic Scream unleashes a deafening, psychic shockwave that liquefies the brains of enemies. Neuroparasite infects the minds of enemy units, causing them to burst apart in a grotesque explosion of psychic energy, potentially spreading the effect to others nearby. Imperial psychic powers. The strength of the Emperor's Chosen. In the Imperium of Man, psychic abilities are a double-edged sword. While the Emperor himself was a powerful psyker, most psykers are seen as a dangerous liability due to their connection to the warp. The Adeptus Astra Telepathica trains sanctioned psykers for battlefield and logistical support, while Space Marine librarians wield potent psychic abilities in battle. Meanwhile, the Grey Knights and Inquisition's Ordo Malus employ psychic powers to combat demonic threats. Sanctic Discipline, Grey Knights, and Ordo Malus. The Sanctic Discipline is a unique set of psychic abilities used exclusively by the Grey Knights and Inquisitors to combat chaos. These powers are designed to smite daemons and protect allies from the corrupting influence of the warp. Vanishment forces demonic entities back into the warp, nullifying their presence in reality. Gate of Infinity instantly teleports a squad of Grey Knights across the battlefield, allowing them to redeploy with precision. Purge Soul, a psychic duel where the psyker channels pure willpower to burn away the corruption of an enemy. Hammerhand temporarily boosts the physical strength of Grey Knights, allowing them to shatter armor and crush foes with sheer force. Sanctuary creates a shimmering psychic barrier that fortifies the defenses of allies, protecting them from attacks. Librarius Discipline, Space Marine librarians. The Librarius Discipline is exclusive to Space Marine librarians and focuses on a combination of destructive and defensive psychic powers. Veil of Time grants the psyker foresight, allowing them and their allies to react faster in combat. Might of Heroes augments a single Space Marine with superhuman strength, turning them into an unstoppable force. Null Zone suppresses invulnerable defenses in an area, exposing enemies to full damage. Psychic Scourge A focused blast of warp energy that sears through enemy defenses. Telepathic discipline. Imperial-sanctioned Psykers. The Imperial-sanctioned Psykers within the Astra Militarum wield their powers to provide battlefield support. Terrify. Instills sheer panic into enemy units, forcing them to flee. Psychic barrier. Creates a protective shield that enhances the resilience of friendly troops. Mental fortitude. Reinforces the minds of allies, making them immune to morale-breaking effects. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.